Canadian families who lost loved ones in the crash of a Boeing 737 MAX plane in Sudan launched their class action lawsuit against the company in Chicago today. All of the victims were from the Toronto area. One family was decimated by the loss of 3 generations. A relative they left behind shared the impact of his loss at a news conference.
Sister and brother-in-law had saved up for years to make this memorable trip for the family. They were heading to safari in Kenya. They wanted to spend time together as a family, doing fun things. Instead, they all died together because of the insensitivity and greed of the maker of a plane and others who didn't care about the very passengers they promised to protect when that plane and so many like them flew people around the world. I'm here to get answers. I owe that to my family that died thousands of miles away.
That was a relative who lost 3 generations of his family in the crash of a Boeing 737 MAX in Ethiopia that killed 157 people. And that was the second major accident involving that plane. 189 people died in a similar crash in Indonesia. But Boeing is strongly defending the 737 MAX and the way the company handled safety issues associated with it. The CBC's Ellen Morrow is in Washington following all of this. Okay, so Ellen, tell us more about the victims and this lawsuit.
Well, it was a really heartbreaking press conference with these families this afternoon. Arthi, there were 2 families from the Toronto area. We heard from there. One of them who we just heard from was the Vadia family from Brampton. As you said, they lost 3 generations of loved ones in the Ethiopian Airlines crash in March. We heard Manette Vadia, as we just heard there, talk about the heartbreaking loss. We also heard from Paul Njoroge. He lost his wife, 3 young children, and his mother-in-law in the same Ethiopian Airlines crash. He was supposed to be on the trip himself, but plans changed at the last minute, and he talked about how life will never be the same. Here's a bit of what he had to say.
I wanted it to be that they had missed the flight. And so I called my brother-in-law, and he confirmed it to me that my entire immediate family had perished in the flight. I lost my beloved wife, Caroline, and our 3 little children, 6-year-old Ryan, 4-year-old Kelly, and baby Ruby, just 9 months old, in the crash of the MAX 8 plane. I was left alone to live an empty life with pain and anguish. My life will never be the same.
These families, Arthi, are part of a wrongful death lawsuit against Boeing, and their lawyers this afternoon had very strong words for Boeing's leadership, accusing the company of being arrogant and reckless.
And now we know also that Boeing CEO defended the company at a shareholders meeting today. So what did we hear from him?
Well, Dennis Muhlenberg was trying to reassure shareholders and the public that safety is Boeing's top priority, hitting back at some of the criticism the company has faced since those 2 deadly 737 MAX crashes that killed 346 people in total. Muhlenberg also spoke about the anti-stall system called MCAS that's been linked to both of the crashes. While he refused to say there was a design flaw in that software, he said the company has been working hard on a fix to improve it. Here's more of what he had to say.
Our commitment to safety is unwavering, and we do regret the impact that this has had to passengers. We know we do have work to do to earn and re-earn that trust, and we will. We know that in both accidents there was a chain of events that occurred. One of the links in that chain was the activation of the MCAS system because of erroneous angle of attack data. That was a common link in both accidents. We know that we can break that link in the chain. That is a link that we own. It's our responsibility to eliminate that risk, and the software update does exactly that.
Now, Muhlenberg also defended against criticism that Boeing did not provide enough pilot training and that it sold some safety features as optional extras that cost more for airlines to buy. It now says those features will be standard on its planes, Arthi, and it hopes to get clearance for its new software fix as soon as possible to get those 737 MAX jets back in the air.
All right, thanks for this, Ellen. That is the CBC's Ellen Morrow in Washington.